This video is going to be a reintroduction of a concept called One Play Wednesday, whereby I take a look at interesting or significant plays from across the NFL, try to present them short, concise manner, 5 to 7 minutes in duration. In this case, it's going to be a 3rd and 5 from the Eagles game against the Patriots in week 2 of the preseason. A completion on an RPO concept to John Ross, the former first-round pick who's now trying to make a comeback with the Eagles. I'm not sure about you. I'm hoping he makes the team. This particular iteration of it is, I would say, 21 personnel. It's kind of hard in the preseason for some of these guys who have numbers in the 40s. Are they a tight end? Are they a fullback? You can see that Kenny Pickett keeps the football, completes it to Ross for 9 yards, kind of sticks the pass in there against Christian Gonzalez, ironically. This is the guy I'm talking about. Not sure if it's a tight end, fullback. In any case, you have two guys with jersey numbers in the 80s and the 40s, presumably either two tight ends or one tight end and one fullback. So interesting that the Patriots are responding with their 5-1 nickel. So you got 5 linemen, 1 inside linebacker, 1 Mike linebacker. How does that relate to the RPO? It makes it more difficult to defend it in some ways, if you ask me. It makes it far easier for the quarterback to read it. That Mike linebacker is oftentimes going to be on or near the midline, which means he'll have to declare a little bit more in order to get in the window of the slants. There's a lot of things going on here. Normally we'll have a bubble by number 2. In this case, a shake slant by number 1, which is Ross. Running back is going to cross Pickett's face, potentially, or to threaten a run concept to the downside of the screen. Read man, in this case, oftentimes the Mike linebacker. Occasionally it'll be a nickel defender if he's inside leverage, but in this case, I think Pickett is clearly looking at the Mike backer. I'll give you the end zone angle of this one. Pickett sticks that throw in there nice and low. There's really nothing that Gonzalez can do to defend it. Ends up being a 9-yard gain. You'll also see from the end zone angle when you get it in a moment that the edge defender is cut by the tight end. The Mike linebacker is, from a responsibility standpoint, hitting the running back even after the ball is thrown. So this is the Mike backer in your 5-1 look. You got 3 down linemen. Let's call them 2 OLBs. This is a 5-1 look. Post-snap, Pickett is looking directly at him. You can see that. While Gainwell is going to cross his face for the mesh. Tight end is cutting the OLB. And then watch the Mike backer on his responsibility. Think option responsibilities. He's stepping to the running back even after the ball is still in the air. Completed to Ross, like I said. Tucked in there nice and low. Christian Gonzalez. I can't wait to see him play this year, to be honest with you. As an aside, if you're an Eagles fan, let me know what your impressions of John Ross have been so far in the preseason. I'm a Ravens fan, so I saw the Ravens and Eagles play in week 1. I was glad to see him out there, and I thought he looked like he still had some speed. This is a foundational element of the Eagles offense. We'll rewind back a year. Don't ask me what the Giants are doing from a coverage standpoint. It's 11 personnel, trips or bunch down into the boundary, so I understand why the nickel is set to that side for the Giants. But once Devonta Smith motions over here, we've pretty much got the same setup that we had on that previous play I just showed you. Twins to the field. Nonetheless, no one from a secondary standpoint is recognizing or doing anything about it from a rotational standpoint. Numbers-wise, really, Jalen Hurts could just throw the ball out here to Devonta Smith, and you have a 2-on-1 whereby A.J. Brown can block the corner, and Devonta Smith has a ton of room. There's zero awareness here, but from a conceptual standpoint, you got all the markers that we just showed you. Tight end is cutting the edge defender, running back cross the quarterback's face, a little bit of a mesh, bubble or flat concept, and then A.J. Brown on the slant. This one happens to go for a big gain. Kind of your quintessential, I guess you would say, RPO from this standpoint, in that it's to the left of the quarterback, the pass concept, as opposed to the right. I'll go back to the end zone angle one more time to cover an element of it that we would always talk about. We would call it a backwards RPO if the quarterback was right-handed and the back was on the opposite side. Watch Kenny Pickett's throwing arm or throwing shoulder and then left shoulder. Because the fake here is left to right, the flow of the ball in Kenny Pickett's upper body as he's meshing with the running back is in this direction, which in the event of a keep read, which is what he gets here, means that the ball ends up traveling back to his throwing shoulder, his throwing side. If you were to do it in the other direction, I'm not saying it can't be done. Guys with huge arms do it all the time. But that's why we would call it a backwards RPO when we saw it at the high school level. If the running back's feet was here and he was crossing the quarterback's face right to left and it was a right-handed quarterback, the mesh, the ball would be traveling in this direction, sliding or moving in that direction while the mesh is occurring. And for the quarterback to then throw the ball back to this side, the ball has traveled in the wrong direction, making you slightly slower, if you ask me, getting the ball back out to the right-hand side. That's why most of the iterations of this that you see is with the running back on the quarterback's left-hand side and the two receivers to the left as well, because obviously most quarterbacks, like most people, are right-handed. You guys let me know what you think of One Play Wednesday. If this is the first one you've ever listened to, try to produce short videos that people can hear some of the terminology and that I'm aware of. And of course, you may have some terminology awareness or systems that you have other words for. Please let me know in the comment section if you do. If you enjoy One Play Wednesday, if you have some interesting plays to point out to me, let me know in the comment section, and I'll try to get to them later Wednesday as well. Appreciate you guys' time.